Hey, Adam,
Geez,
one
why,
thing.
why do you think they called bumpers, Gary?
I don't know.
Because they come at the beginning, at the end, like bumpers.
Alex, you're a marketing guy. Do you like that design behind Paul? Does that logo thing look pretty cool to you?
Hey, I forgot to hit the record button.
Yeah, that's really professional, isn't it?
Well, this is a professional podcast.
I met her in a parking lot and was handed 2 little Yorkies. And the only person I knew that knew Yorkies was Paul. So I called Paul and said, Paul.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud and subscribe today. Now it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sweet Talk, ISU's Continuing Education and Workforce Training's weekly podcast. As you can see, some of our regular co-hosts are gone, but we have our favorite substitute, Shirley, with us. Shirley, how are you doing today?
Hey, it's Thursday, and it's raining. Just think of all those lawns and flowers that are getting water, and we don't have to do that later. It's a good day.
It is a good day. And with us today is Debbie Borick. She is going to talk to us a little bit about our upcoming Saftey Fest. Welcome, Debbie. Can you take a few minutes to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about you?
Sure. Thanks so much, Angie. Hi, Shirley. So I'm Debbie Borick. I am the Vice President of Operations for Eastern Idaho Safety Consultants. We do consulting and training here in Eastern Idaho for a wide variety of clients. We also partner with ISU to deliver OSHA classes at ISU, which we're really excited about. We've been in business since 2018 and still going strong. We just really like what we do, and we like being a resource here for the community.
We have an upcoming Saftey Fest here in early May. We host this every year. This is in conjunction with Idaho State University. There's actually several partners, the University of Washington, Eastern Idaho Safety Consultants, so many people. Debbie and Shirley are very, very involved in Saftey Fest. Can the two of you take a minute to share what Saftey Fest is, how it got started, and why it's such a great resource for people in our region?
Well, I really don't know how it started, because when I came on board with workforce training in, I don't know what year it was, I came to work one morning and they said, "You're headed to the hotel and you're going to help with Saftey Fest." Okay, I'm on my way. And I handed out packets, met everybody with a smile, and made sure that they knew about the vendor bingo and what they needed to do and when they needed to be there and where the rooms were. And then I moved on to the next person. And that was my goal when I first was involved in Saftey Fest. So I'm a little of no information how it began. Now in 2022, was our first Saftey Fest here in Pocatello. And my director at that time, Gary, says when the individual who was doing it before let us know that she was resigning, he said, "Shirley, we can do this." And I'm like, "Gary, you're crazy. I have no idea how to do this." I said, "I was just a pretty face when it all began." And so, well, we buckled down and we looked at some past files and past letters and all the support from the vendors of the past, and Debbie and her group, the support that they gave me and the help, we pulled it off. And this is our second year we've done this. And last year we had 50 or 60 classes, or let me say we had 50 or 60 classes presented. I would like to increase that by 10, but Aaron told me I was probably dreaming that we would probably have to have more rooms. And I asked him, "So what? It's more rooms." But anyway, that's my involvement in Saftey Fest.
That's great, and still a pretty face. So that's all. The great The Great Safety Fest of the Northwest is, I believe, what the official title is, and it's been going for 15 or 16 years. It started in Boise, and so it last this year in Boise in January. It was actually at College of Western Idaho, and then of course the one here in Pocatello is at ISU. There is one in the Panhandle that is normally held at College of or North Idaho College. Let's forget it's not College of Northern Idaho. And I believe that there's also one at Lewis and Clark State College. So it is a statewide event that generally takes place between January and May. And it offers free safety training. And I believe the whole purpose of the event has always been to provide free safety training for the community, especially for those smaller employers that can't necessarily pay to send their people to a lot of expensive training or hire an instructor, et cetera. So it draws people from all kinds of companies, all kinds of vendors come and support it. Lots of instructors, generally professionals, industry professionals who give their time, and so that folks can learn things. It's 3 days long, and it's generally packed with lots of classes, lots of information. And we usually offer things like 10-hour classes, CPR, HAZWAP, a refresher, kind of the things that people need often to either get or renew. And so that makes it really handy as well.
Well, thank you very much for that overview. I think it's very, very important for people to kind of understand what Safety Fest is. It's been an extremely popular event. Shirley, can you take a minute to talk about what types of classes Safety Fest had in the past, and then what you are looking at having this year as well?
They've always offered the CPR, and I know at one time they had flagging. They had crane training with the simulator, and they've had a few other simulator type classes given. They've always had the OSHA classes as far as I can remember. I know the ones that we're doing this year are similar. We've got CPR. We're offering it all 3 days so we can reach out to more people. We've got the OSHA classes, 10-hour, and then some shorter classes. We have HAZWAPer. We have employee training classes like interviewing, resume building, or how to talk to employees, how to retain them. So we've got a lot of those kind of classes going along, as well as burnout. How do we, keep that from happening? So we've got a mixture of several classes. And then some of them are offering them not only once, but all 3 days. Some of them will do them all 3 days and one time in the morning and one in the afternoon, so that everybody can get a chance to take the course. If they've got something else that's conflict with the morning, they can take it in the afternoon, or vice versa. So we try to get those who are willing to teach it more than one day. And then, of course, if they don't mark on their form that they'll only do it once, I get to throw the dart. Some of them are surprised.
They get to teach more than once.
Exactly. I love throwing darts. I send them out emails to try to get pull that information from them. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. And I guess there's where the darts come in. And, I just kind of joke with them, and we'll send them out. We send out an email as we get a little closer to when registration opens, and have all of the presenters look at where they're at. And if for some reason it doesn't fit their schedule, or they're like, oh, you've got me in there twice. Okay, I can't do that. Then, it's no biggie. We just delete and move on. So
now I can tell you Safety Fest has grown substantially since we've been holding it. I believe in 2022, we had about 218 people register. And in 2023, it looks like we had 278. Most of those people, those registrations, take multiple classes. So we're offering, if you think about that, if each of them just took 3 or 4 classes, that's hundreds and hundreds of seats that we're filling here at Idaho State University. Debbie, you and your and Ed Woodland run a lot of, I don't know why I called him Woodland. Ed run the OSHA classes here as well for the University of Washington OSHA Training Center. Those classes do cost the participants or their employer money to take those classes. They can take some of those classes for free at Safety Fest. What type of value does Safety Fest bring to people who are then taking those classes?
Well, the one of the things that's available through OSHA, through the OSHA training centers, of which we are located in Region 10, and the Region 10 training center is located at University of Washington up in Seattle. And through OSHA, safety professionals can get a variety of certificates, and the certificates are basically classes sort of stacked up on each other, and then they get a certificate at the end of that. So most of the OSHA numbered classes are included in one or the other of these certificates, and they can be relatively pricey, but when it's at Safety Fest, folks can take class every day. So they could take 3 OSHA numbered classes in for free. And that is a huge deal because the one-day classes, I think they're a couple $100. So if you think about, 30 people signing up for a class, right? And getting that for free, that's a pretty big impact. They also don't have to necessarily travel anywhere. If, for example, they saw one that they needed and it was only in Boise or something. But they get to do it right here locally, which is a really great value as well. I think one of the really important things about Safety Fest is that it brings safety professionals together, because a lot of safety professionals are taking these classes as well as, like line employees. So there's that aspect of it where it's a kind of a gathering of safety knowledge and safety professionals. And then there are also classes for management and executives, some of the ones that Shirley was talking about. So we get a really good, just a really good cross hatch of, different levels of people, different kinds of industries, different companies. And so it's great also for people to be able to make connections with each other. Safety is one of those things. I spent the majority of my career in HR. HR and safety are very similar. They're a necessary evil. And often at a company, there might only be one person. And so it's really incumbent upon that person to find other professionals at other locations that they can bounce ideas off of and learn from, et cetera. So this is a good way for people to be able to reach each other and make those connections.
No, it's Ed Woodford. I don't know why I called him Woodland
Okay.
earlier in the podcast. Ed is one of the OSHA instructors for our area. The wonderful thing about the University of Washington's OSHA Training Center is that they try to ensure that they have training throughout the region so that people don't necessarily have to travel hours away. So we do actually get people here. We've had people that have taken classes with Ed and Debbie who have come from Oregon or other states, because the dates line up very, very well with their availability. But having classes hosted at ISU through the University of Washington's training center really allows people to get that training where they are. So that's so kind of what Debbie said about Safety Fest being all over the state in different parts of the states. Very essential as well for people to get their training, which also helps decrease costs as well, because then employers or individuals are not paying for the travel in the hotel to get that training. It's available very, very close to where they are. So ISU, again, we are the host site for the University of Washington's OSHA classes, and then Ed teaches those classes here. I can tell you that I can't express how much work Shirley puts into the Safety Fest. Shirley organizes all the rooms. She helps with all of the registration, as well as our IT professional, Erin. They put all of the packets together. what's nice about what we do here is at Sweet is typically we just show up, like Shirley's got it all taken care of. Shirley, can you take a few minutes to talk about what goes into Safety Fest and then give the dates for Safety Fest this year and when people can start registering?
The dates are May 7th through the 9th. Registration opens up April 10th or 15th. I can't remember quite when. So they can start registering then. What goes into Safety Fest is reaching out to past vendors, past sponsors, past instructors to see if they would like to come back and teach. Last year, before the Safety Fest ended, I had at least 6 instructors reach out to me and say, we'll do it again. So I had that base. I wasn't starting from nothing, which I feel fortunate that they come to me and say, can we do this again? It's a lot of, sometimes it's blood, sweat, and tears. Sometimes more tears than anything else. But I have a good crew that I work with. I have some work study students that are great at putting post or stickies on the packets for me and getting everything inside that we need inside, like their schedules, the name tags. We do the name tags. They're wonderful at stuffing them for me and getting everything alphabetized. So it's not me. I'm not the only one that does this. I have part-time student workers. I have an assistant, Penny Chandler, who is wonderful. She keeps me in line. We do all the certificates and we put them per classes. And if someone's not in there, or if it's something's wrong, she will let them know that, no, you don't belong in that class. And we tell them when they register on site that, yeah, it might be full, but step inside the door, kind of look around. And if there's empty chairs and the instructor doesn't throw you out, have a seat. Be sure you sign at the bottom of the roll sheet and then come back to us. Or there, we have runners and they will bring us the sheet and we will get the certificates for them. And then they go back to the instructor and he hands them out after he signs them. So, and then we, do that on a Tuesday. We come back on Wednesday. We come back on Thursday. And we do it again. And we have Chartwells who works with us with the refreshments to make sure that everybody is happy and that they've got something to munch on during the day, in the afternoon. And hopefully this year we won't have the fire alarm going off like we did last year. That was yeah, they decided to do a fire alarm test. So we kind of joke about it now. But without the office and without my part-time student workers and my assistant Penny Chandler, I could not do this all by myself. And then of course there's Aaron Hillier, who's our IT person. I would say he is the big limb of this tree that's going on, because without Aaron and his knowledge of the computers, and he goes over on Monday afternoon and sets up all the computers in all the classrooms and makes sure that they're all connected to the Wi-Fi and whatever they need. And if I have special instructions, I've got one instructor who came in yesterday to look at the room and says, well, we need to have it so we can play music, and we need to have it so it can do this. And I said, okay, I will check with my IT and make sure that we can do this. And well, can we get in this room the day before? And I said, well, if I don't have it booked, you can get in the day before and you can set things up, or you can come in that night. So we try to assist all of our instructors in their needs, in their wishes. We try to make the experience pleasant for them so that they will come back, because if they're not happy, they won't come back. And the same thing with my vendors. I try to make them as happy as possible. The first year we had this, we didn't have them in a good place. We got it as close as we could. The one thing with vendors, and I've learned over my years of doing conferences, is you put vendors where the food is, because your participants will go to the food and they have to go through the vendors to get to the food. And I tell every group I work with, when they're talking about, oh, we'll have the vendors over here and we'll have the food over here. And I tell them, no, you have got to have your food and your vendor together, because if you want your vendors to have participants, you want them to have people come to their tables, you've got to have a reason why those participants will go to the vendors. Put the food there. That's a good reason. And it's worked. And some of the people I've worked with, come back later and say, that was a good idea. The vendors were really happy. And at the end of the group, we have evaluations for each of the classes. And I even have an evaluation that I give to my vendors and my presenters so that they can tell me, what did I do not wrong, but what could I have done to make this a better conference, a better place for vendors, make it more suitable, so it's a win-win situation for everybody. And we do this also the same thing for the participants, because we want to know from them what they would like to see as a class offered. And then we can go out and search for an instructor for the next time we have Safety Fest. So, it's not only us that's doing it, it's the vendors that help us, it's our sponsors that help us, it's our participants that are there to help us, because each of us help make this conference a successful conference.
And thank you so much, Shirley, for bringing up all the volunteers. Shirley works to make sure that, and many of our volunteers are actually sponsors and partners that help with Safety Fest. So it's such a wonderful thing to see the people who support it to also work it. Shirley and her team do such a great job at making sure that when volunteers show up, they kind of know where they're needed and what they need to do. Many of these volunteers return year after year. And it's so seamless for Shirley and Penny to get them kind of where they need them, because they've been there, they've done that, they show up every year. It's such a wonderful event for us. As you can see from Shirley's knowledge, she's actually heads up many of the events that we help host here at CEWT. So she kind of, if we've got a question for conferences, we go to Shirley and Penny, because they're so knowledgeable about what actually needs done and
we
how
to the PS team.
What is the PS team?
When you write a letter and you want to add something to it, PS.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Shirley. Yeah, they do such a great job. And Penny and again, the rest of the staff that Shirley has under her are invaluable, as well as all the volunteers. We are actually out of time. It went very, very quickly. For those of you who are looking at this, if you've been to Safety Fest before, you'll get reminder emails from us letting you know when it's coming up, as well as when those registrations are open. If you would like to learn more, and maybe you haven't attended before, or you have attended and are looking forward to it again, we do have a website where you can go look at it right now. We have a save the date up that will update once we have everything, once we get all of the classes settled and ready to register. That website is cetrain.isu.edu/safetyfest. We hope we see all of you there. And if you like this type of content, please like, share, subscribe. That helps our channel out. Thank you for joining us, and be safe out there.